Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel once more. In this particular video I'm going to show you how to draft two different kinds of three-piece corsets on two different kinds of pattern, okay, using the Natalie Bray pattern kind and the freehand pattern type, and also two different ways you can actually draft your three-piece corset, okay. In case the one you don't yet understand it, you can see this other one. I believe you understand it. Please, if you know it's your first time in my channel, do well to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell. And if you're interested, you really want to see the outcome, stick with me to the end of the video, guys. So guys, the first thing I would do is to go ahead and trace out my pattern. So as you can see already, this is my Natalie Bray pattern. The only difference in this pattern here is I've transferred the shoulder that is on the front side to the bust side, as you can see on the pattern. So this is the back and this is the front side, and as you can see, my dart is on the bust instead of on the shoulder. So I'm going to be tracing out from my neck, my shoulder, my armhole and side down to the length of the blouse, because I need this bust. This particular corset is going to be lengthy, and I'm going to be tracing out on this bust point, this line of the bust point exactly, okay. That is the line of the bust point exactly. So I'm going to be tracing from this exact line, and I'm also going to trace the underarm line, okay. So this is an underarm line, but in the other kind of pattern, we know it as chest line, or people call it chest line, okay. Why this is the across chest, the one I know to be the main chest line actually. So I hope you're not confused. So I'm not tracing out the across chest, I'm just tracing out the underarm line, the bust point, the waist and the length. So I'm going later on, I'm going to apply the underbust line. So this is my paper, and I'm going to place it, and I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down. So guys, as you can see, I'm pinning it down. And for the back side, I'm not going to trace everything full. I'm going to trace starting from the bust, as you can see me do already. Just follow exactly what I'm doing, though it's a bit fast, but if you pay close attention, you are going to get it. So I'm tracing everything out perfectly, the bust point, the bust line, the underarm line, and I'm through with that. I'll just go on now and trace out. As you can see, we trace it out with a pencil, and everything is fine and okay. And this is our standard basic block or bodice, okay. This bodice has a lot of advantages. I've left the link below, okay. If you want to learn how to draft this particular bodice, I've left a link below so that you can just go on and learn how to draft it. And this is the bust point or the bust level, the waist, and the underarm line or chest line, according to the way some people believe it to be, or let me just say it like that. So now for the back side, I started tracing the back from the bust. So I'm still going to add more paper to the back, like I'm still going to add more length to the back to take it to the underarm line. That is actually a mistake on the tracing part. I was supposed to trace it from the underarm line and not from the bust line, okay. So guys, as you can see, I just decided to incorporate this particular part so that you will see this particular first pattern you are seeing is the freehand pattern. I'm going to be showing you how to draft and equally how to apply a different way to draft corset on it, or a different kind of corset technique on it. So you can see everything is almost similar, except the Natalie Bray's kind of pattern is standard. All my measurements are perfectly fitted, and everything is just there, and I can use it anytime, any day, and make ready to wears, any kind of. In fact, the advantage is high. So just watch the video below so that you learn better how to draft it, so that you can just go on and learn that, and then equally learn the freehand, whichever one you want and you prefer. So this is 13.5. that is actually my under bust measurement, so I'm marking it because that is the part missing out in this particular pattern, okay, the under bust. So while I've gone ahead to draft everything on the other one. So guys, as you can already see, the length of this particular video is much, so I've been able to cut out the next video that will be coming up, that you're going to see exactly how I drafted the blocks for the other pattern, which is the freehand pattern, and equally the other kind of techniques of cutting a three-piece corset on it. Okay, so that video is going to be dropping just tomorrow after this one. So it's not going to take time. All you need to do is just keep in touch and hit the subscribe button so that you will not miss out when it drops. So guys, into this particular corset making properly, you can see the first thing I'm doing right now is I'm taking the distance, that is the height of my cup, where I want it to stop on my chest. Okay, for those of you that are complaining that why must all the cups reveal the bust, well, now you can see that it's not a must, it's their choice. Okay, so from here I'm taking 3.75, that is 3.075 as the height of the cup. Okay, I took the measurement from the bust point, as you can see, so I went up from there. Or you can take the measurement from your shoulder, then you can take it from your shoulder and come down by maybe 3 by 6 inch or 7 inch if you are taking it from your shoulder. Okay, so if you're taking it from your bust point, which I usually prefer, so you can see 6 inch from the shoulder, so I prefer taking from the bust point most times. So I have 3.75, and that is what I'm using as the height of the cup. That is the length is going to cover up my bust, meaning it's going to cover everything up. So 3.5 is my nipple to nipple, the accurate nipple to nipple measurement, 3.5. So I'm just going to go on now and start marking my 3.5. I'm going to mark it round. Please, I want you to take note that this particular 3.5 is not a must to mark round. First of all, it's not compulsory, okay, but you need to understand how it goes first. So this marking will also help you to understand it, to keep you enlightened. And if you are patient enough to watch the other video, you will also see the different way I used to get a 3.5, which means you must not mark it. Okay, so I'm just going on marking it round now, 3.5, 3.5. And guys, I'm through with the marking, making sure everything is accurate. Okay, you can see that is a bit to 8 above the line, that is the height of the cup, is a bit just to 8 above my actual nipple to nipple or bust palm. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is to take the depth. Okay, that's middle, that is the middle part of my bust, the depth I want it to be. So I'm going to be coming down by 1.5. I'm going to be coming down by 1.5. So you can decide to come down by 1, you can decide to come down by half, whichever way you want to come down. So mine is going to be 1.5, or I'm going to move up from the bust point 2.5. Okay, so when I move up from the bust point 2.5, is going to give me my 1.5. So whichever one, so just do exactly the way you see me do it. And I'm going to come in by ½ inch. Okay, remember the middle has that little spacing. You don't want it to be clogged together so that the cups just join each other. So that is why this spacing is very essential. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to also mark the same ½ inch and rule a straight line so that it will help me gauge when I'm ruling my cup. Okay, so guys, as you can see already, I've ruled a straight line. So now everything is ½ inch and this part is done already. So I've gotten the height of the cup I want, the depth, how deep I want it to be in the middle, and I'm okay. So the next thing to do is to start applying the cup. So I'm going to be shaping this by 2 inch. Okay, I'm going to be shaping it by 2 inch from the under bust. So 2 inch, 2 inch, 2 inch. So now, as you can see the way I place my tip, I'm moving in, I'm moving out to 1 inch on both sides. So normally my dart is 0.75. Okay, so but I'm going to move out 1 inch, which is what you have seen me marked. Okay, so I'm going to equally do the same thing on the under bust, the same way I've done it on the waist. I'm equally going to bring it down on the length. Okay, I'm still going to bring it down on the length, but that will be after I mark the actual length I want this corset to be. So now I'm connecting it straight, just connecting, so that I will just go ahead and apply my cup, because after that, before any other thing. Okay, so as you can see already, The next thing I'm going to do is on the shoulder line, because I want to rule a straight line to meet my bust point in order to give me that shoulder princess. I'm just going to get the midway of my shoulder. Take the accurate measurement of your shoulder, whatever is left of your shoulder, then get the midway. So once you get the midway, you connect it all the way straight to the bust point. Make sure your connection is neat. Okay, so this way you will get I'll get my shoulder line for the corset. Okay, so when making corset, shoulder lines are usually what is used, but in the next cup I'm going to show you how to draft. You will not be making use of the shoulder line there. So you see the reason why you need to watch that other video, because at the end of drafting it will come out exactly the same 3-piece but with different technique. Okay, so one might end up being more easier for you. So now on this particular line, this place, as you can see me going, normally it's supposed to be joined together, so that, but on that particular line I'm marking my 1 inch. That is the 1 inch shaping that I'll be using for this. So I'm not marking it on the cup height line. Okay, please pay close attention to that. I marked it on my bust palm curve. Okay, I mark it on my bust palm, the circle. That is where I marked it. So I'm going to connect it using my French curve. I'm going to connect it all the way out to my cup height line. Okay, that is the height I want this cup to have, how much I want it to cover my bust. Okay, so as you can see, I've connected it, and I'm also connecting the other one, so making sure that it touch the exact point of the 1 inch on both sides. So I hope this particular part is settled. That is the essence of the straight line, the shoulder line you saw me bring. So it helps in the achievement of the tightening for the up part of the cup. That is for the upper part of the cup. Okay, so now I'm going to go on and use my curve to connect these to the exact point of the middle. Okay, so I'm going to be connecting it from the cup height and not from the bust palm circle. Now from the cup height. Okay, you can see, just follow exactly what I'm doing and you're not going to go wrong. Okay, so from this point I'll curve all the way down to this exact point. That is from the underarm line. I'm going to be curving all the way down to the shaping. But before that, I'm going to go in and connect this particular 1 inch I've come out by the side to my bust point. Don't forget that part. It's also very important, because with that your cups will be divided, and then you also tighten the under bust. The way you have tightened the upper bust, that is the upper side of this cup, that is how we are tightening this one using this 1 inch curve. Okay, so I hope my explanations are detailed enough. So I'll just go on now and connect it, and that is it. So you can see already with that I'm already making a cup. Okay, so now I'm going to connect this part to this part, making sure that it's connected properly. Okay, from the bust point to the under bust point, that is to the 1 inch on the other bust point. So guys, the idea of making a corset is not usually easy. It can take time, but you need to understand it, and understanding goes a long way to help you draft a very nice corset, because after drafting it you'll be proud of yourself, and when you finish sewing it, it comes out nice, you will even be more proud of yourself. So that is why I will encourage you to just take your time and follow this video. So I have my 3.5. okay, don't forget I'm going to be adding extra 0.5. okay, for the sake of the side of the bust. Don't forget the side close to the armhole is usually fuller than the middle side. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding 0.5 to that side, and not only for that sake, but also that 0.5 also is also going to cover up for the 1 inch I've moved in the middle part. The ½ inch you moved in the middle is also going to bring balance to it. Okay, so that part is very essential. So I've connected the cup to this particular point now. That is 4 inch instead of 3 inch. the point of the 4-inch. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down on my armhole by just 1/2 inch. I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch in order to give this particular cup a little armhole. Not that I'm giving it an armhole, but let it have a little balance on the underarm side, so that it will not just be hanging around the underarm, like just passing there straight forward. Okay, so this will give it a little curve, okay, around the underarm. You just have this balanced look. Okay, so that is the essence of that. So it's just like saying you're now giving the cup and an armhole, or the corset an armhole. Okay, so as you can see already, I'm supposed to move up straight forward, but I really don't like how straight it will look. Now as you can see at the end of this straight, I don't really like how straight it will look, because it will end up okay, so I'm going to clean this out now because I really don't like it. So I'm just going to use my curve, and from that point of the 1/2 inch I came down. From that point, mind you, that point you're coming down from the armhole you're not taking any specific measurement. Okay, you're not taking any special measurement from the armhole. Just make sure that the point is aligning with the point below, that is on the 1/2 inch below the bust point. Okay, or you can use your curve, and whichever place your curve points to, let it end there, but make sure it's on that 1/2 inch below. Okay, so just pay close attention to this part, because you might get confused and start imagining if you should divide something. Don't divide anything, just work with your curve. So guys, and follow exactly what I'm doing. I might not be able to say everything, so that is why when you follow up, you understand. So guys, this particular 4-inch, I'm coming down from inch from my waist. So this is the actual length I want this my corset to have. So I don't want it to stop on the waistline. It's going to be coming down, that is on my under waist. Okay, that is my lower waist. Okay, lower waist or under waist. Okay, so that is where it's going to stop. So from that point, I'm going to go ahead and curve it. So I'm going to retrace this particular curve to connect to this exact point with the marker, because of the gum stay there. That is because of the paper gum colors. I don't want it to hide the main thing. So guys, as you can see, I'm taking out by 1 inch also, 1 inch also, so that I can connect it straight down. Okay, so now that I've connected it, now on this particular angle where I'm taking out my 1 inch, you should also know that if I wanted to make this corset to have the same length as this my blouse or as these bodies, I will not have any need of taking that 1 inch. I will just cut through from that I already have there. Okay, so but ever since it's going to be stopping halfway, I just have to just move on with it. So I'm going to curve it. So I believe you have seen corsets with this kind of front view before, having a nice curve on the front. Okay, so it's not having a sharp plunge on front, but just a nice round front. So I've already brought out the 2 inch, but this particular part, I'm going to correct it. I'm supposed to go ahead and place the actual measurements now. So on my bust point, I've divided my bust divided by 4, and this is my mark. So mind you, this particular line here becomes the new line. Okay, so that becomes the new line we're using for this corset. So after I mark it, I'm going to come out from that point I marked. That is from the point where my bust measurement marks. I'm going to move out 2 inch. So that 2 inch is to replace the tightening you have done on the top side. The 2 inch there, you are replacing it back, so that when you sew, everything will balance back. So on the waist, I already have on the under bust, I've marked it, and I'm coming out by the same 2 inch again. So on this one, I'm not adding any sewing allowance to this. I'm working just with the replacement I have and the main measurements. So I'm going to do the same thing on the waist. The waist measurement is accurate. I'm going to add up 2 inch, and I'm also going to take the lower waist measurement. Don't forget that part. The lower waist. The lower waist is just the distance. Okay, if you wear your undies, that part your undies usually stop. Okay, so just a bit under your tummy, that side is the lower waist. So most times when you take your tape rule and place on your waist and stretch down, it usually comes out 4 inch distance. So that is what I'm working with. So you're going to take the measurement there and divide it, because in that place someone there might have a bigger tummy that side, so you might have to increase it. Might not have to be the same thing with the waist. So after that, I will also move out by 2 inch, then I will go out and connect. So I hope this is clear and you're understanding this. So I'm retaking the measurement of my balls, because it's just like this part, whatever I'm measuring there is as if I didn't take it properly. Can you see? Now I will have to go over again and retake it again. Okay guys, so one thing I forgot to tell you is the bust line is where you're bringing out the 2 inch. You're also going to bring it out on the upper side. So if you notice I brought it out on the two sides, on the up and down. That is on the bust line and also on the upper side there. So it's better that way, so that when you do your sewing, everything will rhyme up. Okay, so I'm going to go on now and retrace this, okay, because this part is a part I was supposed to do before ruling my curve for the front. So you can see I reruled a different line to reshaping that part. Okay, so I'll just go on and reconnect it, but then I'm not going to use the French curve, because the French curve is a bit too curvy for this part. So I will just use my hand and curve it down, okay, like this, as you see me do. So guys, all you need to do is just follow exactly what I'm doing here. I know that you are not going to come out wrong. You are going to be happy you made this nice corset. And then if at the end of the day you don't end up still getting it clearly, replay the video over and over again. I believe you will get it clearly. And I'm going to name it now number 1, number 2, and 3. So I've labeled it. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the curves. Okay, so I'm going to divide the curves. I'm going to come down in the middle side by 2.5. So guys, if you follow this video accurately and you really understand this curve, you are going to be getting exactly what I got here. Yours is just going to come out very similar way. Okay, so that is the whole idea. So on the side, I'm going to go down by 2 inch. I'm going to go down by 2 inch. So most times it's very okay like this, so that the front side will not be too wide. That is, the upper part of the 3-piece will not be wider than the lower. It will just have a nice balance. Okay, so but if you want the upper part to still be wider, the lower side will be a bit very small. It's your choice, so you can go on and divide it as you understand best. So guys, after this particular video, like I said, the next one coming out to be how to draft the other one. That is exactly how to get the block, the freehand block pattern, and equally how to apply a different corset, 3-piece corset technique on it. So if this one is a bit confusing yet, you can try the other one. I know you will end up getting similar results. So on the back side, like I said, I've been able to do this. I'm going to go ahead and come down by 4 inch exactly, again the way it is on the front, and I'm going to connect it. So the back side, I'm not going to do much work here. I'm going to be using the dart on the back for this, because this dart is very accurate and is a very stylish dart. So I don't want it to get messed up, so I'm just going to maintain the dart. So on this particular part from the bust level, you can still reshaping it if you want yours to be even more deeper. But if you want yours to start from the bust level and you're okay with it, it's your choice. So whichever one you want to maintain. So I'm going to come down by ½ inch and curve this in, but this is not what I'm going to be using to make this corset. Okay, because like I say, don't forget, I'm going to be sewing this actual one. Okay, I'm going to sew this so that you see the outcome of this corset. So but we are going to be finish up with the tutorials first, which is to this video and the next video, before the sewing will you get the sewing. So I'm going to reshaping it again exactly the way I did on the front side. Okay, to remark, just took the measurement, remark it. So, and on this one I'm going to add extra paper. You know, like I told you that during the tracing I was supposed to trace it from the underarm line and not from the bust line, because I want it to match exactly with where the front one is matching. So I'm going to go ahead and add more paper. As you can see, I've done that already, and I've made sure that everything is matching and in line. So I hope this part doesn't confuse you, okay? Because just in order so that when I cut this and I start joining it, I might not have to be shaping. I really like the length the side of the front has. I don't want it to have a deeper length, okay? So because if you start going deeper, it might make it to be revealing on the armhole side. Okay, so I want it to have a very nice covered armhole and yet fitted. Okay, so I'm just going to go on and cut it out now. So just follow up patiently and pay close attention to the cutting. I made this part a little bit fast, so but then if you follow it up, you understand exactly what I cut here. It's not difficult. So one thing about the corset is once you finish drafting it, the cutting is usually not a problem. It's just for you to understand what you have drafted and you are good to go. So as you can see, I'm cutting out exactly what I drafted, and I really love the way it is looking. You can see how lovely this corset is looking. Trust me, if you try yours, you're going to be proud of yourself. When you finish drafting it, you start asking yourself. So with this particular one, you can make yourself a two-piece corset. Okay, you can see the way I placed it already. So instead of cutting two and making a two-piece corset is already achievable like so. Just pick it and join it and you're good to go. So guys, right now what we are making is a three-piece corset. So I'm just going to go on and join these two together. Okay, so I hope you understood that part. So the part I named one, I picked whatever I got there to join it together. So that is it. So I'm cutting the back side equally, and then sending arrows to connect it so that I will know which side is midway. So mind you, on this particular dart on the back, I'm going to be replacing it on the fabric. Okay, so this is the outcome of what the two kind of patterns and the two different kind of corsets will look like when I'm through with when you finish watching these tutorials. You have seen the first one, and then this particular second one you're seeing here is going to be what you will see on the next video. And you can see that this particular one, there was no joining on the upper part of the cup. It's just together, but at the end of the day it has exactly the same look, while the first one has a joining. So in case you have been coming across corsets like this and you're asking questions, well, your questions have been answered in this video. So after this particular video, the next one coming up, which I made sure that it's not going to take long, is going to explain to you how this other corset or three-piece is being got. One thing I know for sure is if you watch this, you're going to end up liking one of them and you want to try them. So guys, if you know you've enjoyed this video so far and really is your first time, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell for more updates. And if you have been coming in my videos, if you are my old time subscriber coming back, I really want to let you know that you are deeply appreciated. All of your support and everything to me, I really appreciate it. Please keep the good work, keep it coming, and do not forget to keep supporting me, and I will keep doing my best. So guys, the next video coming up after this is how to draft the second part of this corset, which is on a different technique or different pattern and different technique of drafting it. So after that, the next video that will follow is how to sew it. So I'm going to be sewing with this particular one on this video so that you will see exactly how to cut it on the fabric and how to sew it. So I'm going to be sewing it also with a lacing at the back. So if you're interested and you want to see the full outcome, please do well to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notification bell for more updates. Thank you so much for enjoying this video so far. See you in my next video. Bye.